Hi, Lou here to speak about a fundamental difference between uh, ways of deciding what to do in warfare and how that can affect games. Yomi versus Minimax. This is a contrast between how real war works and how most commercial war games work. It's a matter of how players decide what to do and depends heavily on how much information is available. Now, non-commercial war games, such as used by the military, involve many people, judges, intermediaries, fog of war to make them more like real warfare. That's not anything close to a commercial war game where you have two or more people sitting across a board playing a game. In deciding what to do, one method is Yomi. David Serlin says this is a Japanese word roughly meaning reading an opponent's intentions. That is, you decide what the enemy will do and act to take advantage of that. This is how some real-life generals have tended to work, especially the great ones, because when it works, it's much more devastating than the alternative Minimax method can be. The Minimax is the other possibility, and this is from the mathematical theory of games. Players want to maximize their minimum gain. They assume the opponent is a perfect player. There may be calculations you can make, although usually the situation is too complex. But if calculations can be made, you end up with a mixed strategy, which is sometimes you'll do one thing, sometimes you do another thing, sometimes you'll do a third thing, and so on. And in simple games, such as the ones that the game theory people play, you can calculate actual percentages and sort of roll percentage dice, and that will determine which one you will use. But this requires a lot of information, much more information than is available in real warfare, but it often is available in commercial war games. Some nations are more likely to use one method or the other. For example, nowadays, the USA tends to want to overwhelm the enemy with superior numbers and equipment. That works best with Minimax. You're not guessing at the opponent's intentions. You assume the opponent is doing as well as they can and act accordingly. This also encourages high quality information gathering, which the modern US military is known for and has things like drones to be able to achieve. Now, how does this relate to games? Well, commercial tabletop game players, and to a lesser extent commercial video game players, want to feel in control. They want lots of information that might be hidden in real warfare. Video games tend to make it easier to hide information, and the players are more accustomed to hidden information. But video war games, quote unquote, are frequently resource management games much more than war games. And in the resource management game, they have all the information they need. Tabletop designers have to figure out ways to hide information, such as blocks in block games or cards. So yes, commercial war games are about generalship, not about war, but the dichotomy between games and warfare holds. It's a poor version of generalship. The generalship of the commercial war game tends to be of the Minimax kind, not the Yomi kind. So once again, we see commercial war games being much more games and much less about warfare than some might hope. Thanks for listening.